Catherine de Cleves, along with her sisters Marie and Henriette, were elegantly referred to as the Three Graces by their contemporary, the writer Pierre de Brantôme. In the 70s of the 16th century, these young women became the jewels of the French court, rivaling the renowned heartbreaker Marguerite de Valois. The youngest, Marie, captivated Prince Henry of Anjou, dispelling the myth of his unconventional views on love. Marie was destined to grace the court, being the daughter of the Duke of Cleves and Marguerite de Bourbon. Born in the mid-16th century, she was related to Queen of Navarre, the princes of Condé, and the ruling Valois family in France. Orphaned at the age of 9, Marie came under the care of Queen Jeanne of Navarre. By then, her two elder sisters had already married into noble families, the Gonzagas and the Guises. This led to a long separation, with the older sisters residing in Paris while Marie spent most of her time in the south. A strict and devout guardian, Aunt Jeanne insisted that Marie adhere to the tenets of Protestantism. This aligned with a preordained plan for her future. She was to marry a fellow Protestant, Prince Condé, when the time was right. Queen Jeanne deemed Marie ready for marriage when she turned 19. The charming young woman, with her clear blue eyes and petite stature, was brought to Paris and introduced to the court. Her fiancé maintained a distant demeanor, while another prince from the Valois line, Henry of Anjou, was immediately smitten with Marie. Soon, he was to leave Paris for the royal crown of Poland. It was hardly a romance, fraught with obstacles. Their encounters were rare, consisting of fleeting glances, quick handshakes, and barely perceptible smiles. A dance at a ball, hand in hand, brought joy that lasted for months. A few hurried phrases and short notes exchanged. Marie was careful not to give rise to gossip, while Henry, growing more passionate, began to lose his vigilance. Marie understood her purpose in the French capital and patiently awaited her fate. Meanwhile, Henry of Anjou cried out in pain and frustration, feeling powerless to change their circumstances. Eventually, Marie was wed to her intended, Henry of Condé, in a ceremony at the Château de Blandy, conducted in the traditions of Protestantism. A second ceremony had to follow, according to Catholic rites, as mandated by the court. Henry, aware that his departure for Poland was inevitable, delayed as long as possible. He was proclaimed sovereign, yet he wouldn't set off for another 6 months. Although a throne awaited him in Warsaw, his thoughts remained in Paris. There, far from Marie, Henry began to contemplate the possibility of his beloved divorcing her husband. However, any attempt to discuss this with her family was met with a wall of misunderstanding. Catherine de' Medici, the mother of the Polish king, wanted nothing to do with the idea. She was searching for a more advantageous match for her son, one that was far more appealing than the daughter of the Duke of Cleves. In her letters to him, she urged him to consider a genuine dynastic alliance. Marie's married life was far from happy. Henry of Condé was more focused on politics than on his wife and behaved like a typical jealous husband. Of course, he was aware of the affection that the other Henry held for her. Marie's correspondence was closely monitored. What if a letter arrived from Poland? It's likely that letters did come. Henry of Anjou was eager to return home. After the sudden death of his brother, King Charles IX, he simply fled Warsaw. On his way back, now knowing he also bore the crown of France, Henry had it all planned out. He would ensure Marie's marriage was annulled. Who could stand in the way of a king in his own realm? First the divorce, then marriage to the woman he loved. As Henry raced toward Paris, Marie was pregnant. Her husband, fearing for his life amid the renewed religious wars, had taken refuge in Germany. Marie refused to flee. She knew Henry was on his way to France and eagerly awaited their reunion. But fate intervened. The young woman gave birth to a girl named Catherine, but a midwife's mistake led to fatal complications. After suffering for several days, the princess passed away. Her final moments spent gazing at the door, hoping he would walk in. No one had the courage to inform the new King Henry III about Marie's death, but they also couldn't delay the news any longer. Finally, the Queen Mother devised a plan. A note was written and discreetly placed on the king's desk. An hour later, physicians rushed to the palace. Henry had fainted. Once he regained consciousness and realized what had happened, he fell into a deep hysteria, which soon gave way to a depression that lasted for months. Marie de Cleves remained an unhealed wound in Henry's heart. Even his subsequent hasty marriage to Louise de Vaudemont was linked to this youthful love. People said the girl became Queen of France simply because she bore a resemblance to Princess Marie.